Welcome to the Western Officiating Development Partnership. In this segment, we're going to talk about communication and how important and vital it is in our role as officials. Well, I think the communication is key for us because I think what it does is it provides us an avenue to humanize our job. So we get a chance to communicate with the players or the coaches, and they realize that we're people. We're not just out there doing a job. And then I think it gives us an opportunity to create respect. And the big thing we need to create within the game from the players and the coaches is we need them to respect us individually, right? And respect the job that we do. And that can lead us then down to a path where there's some trust. And once I think we can get the coaches and the players to trust us, it's just going to open up all those avenues to make it easier for everybody.
They need to know the people they're dealing with in order to best communicate with them and know what works for that approach. So things with coaches, I think what everybody expects and demands, our game demands it, is honesty and integrity. And as long as you uphold those things, they're going to certainly hold you accountable, but they'll allow you a little bit of latitude when mistakes are made.
But the other flip side of that is the listening aspect that we don't often talk about enough. Letting the player or your partners or the coaching staff know that you've heard their issue, you understand their complaint, but you're going to act in a certain manner, your decision will stand. That's such a critical part, that people need to know that you've heard them and that you understand, but you're going to move on. And if you can do that and deliver your communication in that manner, the game will become very easy for you.
Honesty is a huge part of it. Essentially, when we're on the ice, it's just one giant relationship, and honesty is a huge part of it. You got to earn the respect from the coaches, rightfully so, and being dishonest is one way to quickly ruin that relationship.
So now we've seen how important communication is and how it affects our respect and rapport within the game. Now we're going to show you the differences between how referees communicate with players and coaches, how linesmen can communicate with players and coaches, and how us as officials communicate with our teammates.
Specifically speaking, from a linesman's perspective, our job is more of we actually have to calm things down a little bit more. The aggression is usually between the coach, the players, and the referee. And as officials, as linesmen, we're more in charge of the flow of the game. And I think it really helps and it benefits everybody involved. As a linesman, if you have a good demeanor, you're calm, you can kind of put some fires out. You have to, instead of elevating the aspect of the heat of the moment, you try to really work towards making sure that everything's calmed, everything is seen in a different light, and you can kind of alleviate a little bit of frustration from time to time. I think that is a real tribute or a real attribute of a linesman.
Linesmen can be a great buffer between the referees and the coaches and the benches, and we can get in the players' ears and talk to them, and kind of de-escalation is the key. Everyone's always hot and worked up a lot of the time when we need to intervene, and if you have good de-escalation techniques, you can bring the temperature of the game down and be able to work through situations with the game participants better.
We as linesmen have a pretty unique opportunity and role where we can kind of play the good cop to the bad cop. If you reference the referees being the bad cop, but we can kind of have a different relationship with the players where we can not totally disregard with what the referees are doing, but kind of play the other side of bringing the players down and diffusing the situation, maybe taking some heat off the referees as well. Same thing with coaches. We have that opportunity to be sort of a sounding board for the coaches to say what they have to say, and without having to get the referees involved, and they can vent. And obviously there's lines that get crossed, and we have to accept that things that are said aren't always appropriate, and we have to deal with it appropriately.
What's that? Straight off his shoulder. Yeah. Just concerned if he bumped the goalie going behind, but he was clear. So they were looking to see if it was glove though.
Yeah, communication is key, especially, you're going to have to deal with coaches, and most of the time you're dealing with a coach is in a situation where, the temperature's risen and there's a little bit of heat involved in a conversation, and it's very key that as an official we go over there and we're the one that's, trying to keep everything, bring a situation from here and bring it back down to here. So you have to go there with that mindset that you say, listen, I gotta make sure I'm the one that's not only running the conversation, but I'm making sure that I'm bringing the conflict from here to here, bringing it down rather than escalating it. So obviously a lot has to do with your demeanor. You have to take charge when you're talking with the coach. Obviously you want to take control of the situation, but also you want to treat them with respect and make sure that you're trying to bring them down. And obviously, honestly, a lot of the time they just need to be heard. And as long as you can keep it quick and we're not making a habit of always doing it.
Communication's definitely huge. I think for me it's to have the confidence to go over to a coach or a player, right, wrong, or indifferent, to deal with a situation that may arise. And just have the confidence in going and approaching that situation and not just kind of leaving it to the side. Communication goes a long way. Being respectful to the game and to the participants in the game, it goes a long way.
Yeah, something that someone told me last year, it's pretty easy. You just go to the head coach, you say, hey guys, who's responsible for the changes tonight? Like, where should I be looking? Say that to both coaches. And usually they respond pretty quickly, and then the communication line's open for the rest of the game.
To understand their point of view and see where they're coming from. And the great thing about having those conversations is, maybe the next day when you're going through your mind that game and how it played out, hopefully we've learned something. Maybe the coach has a really good point that we can use to improve our officiating and understanding as we move forward.
Hang on. Yeah, on the PP, you hear me barking at him? Yeah. Okay, so we just watch it, right? He's not doing anything silly. He's just standing there. Right? Okay, so he's putting the onus on himself then. Hang on here. Let me watch and see what's going on here, then I'll listen to you. Where? Inside? His head went back. I don't think he hit him in the head, Kate. It wasn't in the back of your head. It was back. Hey, relax. Okay, we're good. I got a cross check. Grace, you got your guys? Good. Cross check.
Don, are you doing the forwards for the most part? Are you doing the forwards? Okay.
Puck's there. Here, guys, here. Own guy.
I think just having those discussions and building a relationship with your partner, a trusting relationship, and making sure that both of you are on the same page, or all of the officials are on the same page. So knowing different situations, how we're going to interact, how we're going to communicate, and how decisions are going to be made on the ice. We don't have a lot of time to do that during the play or on the ice, so before the game, pre-game, it's vital that those conversations happen.
Communication on the ice obviously is a huge part. For me, it's definitely, when I was younger, it was a little harder. I wasn't the most outspoken guy on the ice, but I found that now you're with like a core group of guys. It's still a lot of guys, but you just come in, you're there to do the job, and I think that personally, I can, as soon as I meet another ref, it's just like, all right, we're buddies now. Like, I can have an open conversation on the ice and communicate effectively on the ice for the most part. Obviously, sometimes we trip up, but I think the biggest thing for me is just being aware, like whether it's the liney just buzzing by him and saying, hey, like how much time we got left on the clock, or if you're talking to the other ref, just quick conversation, yes, no answers, all that stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just having an open line of communication and kind of letting the guys know like about plays in the room, talk about that, and just how the game's going. So it's the biggest thing for me.
Drive it.
Come on, Mike. Except for those back wingers.
Back wingers?
They're coming in a bit.
Are they?
You gotta really set them there.
Set them?
Set them.
Okay. The back wingers.
The back guys.
Set them?
Set them in.
Okay.
Because they're coming in.
They're coming in. Okay. Even up, eh? 4-on-4. Spurge. 4-on-4? Yeah. 4-on-4, guys. You guys good? Yeah, one.
Pick up on that high stick. That happens really quick. Couldn't even tell if it got him. Good pickup. Drops like a sack of hammer.
Yeah. Well, he took it pretty hard across the visor there.
We've seen some great examples of some great communication. Communication is key for us. What it does is it provides personality. It provides the opportunity that we go over to a bench that we have a relationship with, and we have to work through hard times. The foundation we built through our communication will allow us and the participants to get through those situations. Our personality and our communication are key elements in officiating.